A reading from the book of Genesis. The Lord appeared to Abraham at the oak of Mamre while he was sitting by the entrance of the tent during the hottest part of the day. He looked up, and there he saw 3 men standing near him. As soon as he saw them, he ran from the entrance of the tent to meet them, and bowed to the ground. "My Lord," he said, "I beg you, if I find favor with you, kindly do not pass your servant by. A little water shall be brought. You shall wash your feet and lie down under the tree. Let me fetch a little bread, and you shall refresh yourselves before going further. That is why you have come in your servant's direction." They replied, "Do as you say." Abraham hastened to the tent to find Sarah. "Hurry," he said, "knead 3 bushels of flour and make loaves." Then, running to the cattle, Abraham took a fine and tender calf and gave it to the servant, who hurried to prepare it. Then, taking cream, milk, and the calf he had prepared, he laid all before them, and they ate while he remained standing near them under the tree. "Where is your wife Sarah?" they asked him. "She is in the tent," he replied. Then his guest said, "I shall visit you again next year without fail, and your wife will then have a son." Sarah was listening at the entrance of the tent behind him. Now Abraham and Sarah were old, well on in years, and Sarah had ceased to have her monthly periods. So Sarah laughed to herself, thinking, "Now that I am past the age of childbearing, and my husband is an old man, is pleasure to come to my way again?" But the Lord asked Abraham, "Why did Sarah laugh and say, 'Am I really going to have a child now that I am old?' Is anything too wonderful for the Lord? At the same time next year I shall visit you again, and Sarah will have a son." "I did not laugh," Sarah said, lying because she was afraid. But he replied, "Oh yes, you did laugh." The Word of the Lord. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew. When Jesus went into Capernaum, a centurion came up and pleaded with him. "Sir," he said, "my servant is lying at home, paralyzed and in great pain." "I will come myself and cure him," said Jesus. The centurion replied, "Sir, I am not worthy to have you under my roof. Just give the word, and my servant will be cured. For I am under authority myself, and have soldiers under me, and I say to one man, 'Go,' and he goes, to another, 'Come here,' and he comes, to my servant, 'Do this,' and he does it." When Jesus heard this, he was astonished, and said to those following him, "I tell you solemnly, nowhere in Israel have I found faith like this. And I tell you that many will come from east and west to take their places with Abraham and Isaac and Jacob at the feast in the kingdom of heaven. But the subjects of the kingdom will be turned out into the dark, where there will be weeping and grinding of teeth." And to the centurion Jesus said, "Go back then. You have believed, so let this be done for you." And the servant was cured at that moment. And going into Peter's house, Jesus found Peter's mother-in-law in bed with fever. He touched her hand, and the fever left her, and she got up and began to wait on him. That evening they brought him many who were possessed by devils. He cast out the spirits with a word, and cured all who were sick. This was to fulfill the prophecy of Isaiah. He took our sicknesses away and carried our diseases for us. The Gospel of the Lord.